Did you know that Walmart and OpenAI have created a partnership? That's what we're talking about on today's Shred Talk. And this one, I initially was kind of excited about, and then I started to get really worried about. And I also have an element that I think is kind of funny. But so Walmart is partnered with OpenAI so that if you chat with OpenAI or with ChatGPT will source and purchase from Walmart for you. And this is interesting for Walmart because they don't have to build their own system, which is going to take a lot of time, and they can kind of get right to some advanced e-commerce type stuff, and that's kind of interesting. I think there's a world where you engage with businesses like that, and this is certainly probably the beginning of it. Another piece of this that's interesting is these are two fucking huge companies. Like, I think it's a big deal, and I think it's underrated in terms of the amount of conversation that's happening about it. On the OpenAI side, they have tons of pressure on the fact that they don't have a clear profit model other than subscription services. And I've even heard Sam Altman talk in interviews that they're kind of banking on artificial general intelligence or super intelligence to get to that point with the technology, and then be like, what do we do to be profitable? And to me, I directly advise against that type of growth with the startups that I work with and that my company works with. But I digress. So they're trying to create other pathways for profitability and revenue generation, which makes a lot of sense. And it's almost like credit card company style. It reminds me of that like SNL skit or something where they're sourcing ideas, and somebody's out there. He's like, I'll get 0.3 cents on every transaction, and it's just like for nothing, and it's just kind of this goofball. But that's kind of what a little bit is going on here. They're trying to wedge themselves into this purchasing situation where they're going to give Walmart access to customers, and then they're going to, have more functionality. But to me as a consumer, and I'm the type of consumer that when I'm in the grocery store or whatever, I'm looking at, the difference between price per ounce and the difference between brands, and I'm paying attention. You lose. Like, we're already worried about AI hallucinating when it's, looking at a report or whatever. So we're going to give it our shopping, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like on the trusting it side. But then on the other piece of it, it's like, well, OpenAI is a company that's struggling to show where it's going to get its revenue. So they have a fire burning under them. So they're highly motivated in their own self-interest. I don't know any circumstance in the world where a major organization that's highly motivated in its own self-interest is going to do anything other than think about its own self-interests against one small individual, So, for instance, if all of a sudden they are being paid to only sell one product or source one product or, all these different things, all of a sudden the economic landscape starts to become highly controlled, and without regular everyday people having enough depth of understanding to even realize there's a choice that they're not getting to make. And for me, I think that's spooky. I want to know what you think, if I'm maybe just, some tinfoil hat cat over here worried about shit that's not a problem. But it seems like a lot of power to give to an organization and a company that's having regular security breaches, public security breaches, and is publicly not completely sure how they're going to capitalize on all of the money that has been invested into them. So, interesting partnership. I think there's two different lines of thinking for this TRED Talk. One, what does the future look like in that style of AI agentic e-commerce? Kind of cool, could be cool. And then, where is the line of transparency or whatever else that needs to be drawn as it relates to how aware and involved regular everyday individuals are in their own purchasing decisions in these types of agentic e-commerce scenarios. So let me know what you think.